Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our session on the last step of the basic marketing steps. Does anybody know what the last step is? That's right. It's step 6 is the marketing action plan. Okay? So does anyone know how to do a marketing action plan? Okay. So it's really putting everything together, no? So if you remember, we went through the 5 steps of the marketing basics, no? So we started with an external analysis, an internal analysis, and then we did the SWOT analysis on marketing. We also did the product market combination, and we did the marketing mix, no? The future marketing mix. So in each of the 5 steps, you are actually already able to draw out some actions that you need to take. So if you have been taking notes during the previous steps, then this last step, which is the marketing action plan, should relatively be easy for you, right? Okay. So what do you think is the main idea, or what is the most important thing to consider when you do a marketing action plan? Okay. Right, that's right. So the main thing is really to define the action clearly, no? And exactly, no? As accurately as you can. So when you do a plan, what are the basic things that need to be there? Right? The what? Yes, you're right. The person who will do the action, okay? The who, that's right. The when, exactly, no? When should the action be taken, or what is the deadline for that action? And the resources that is needed, and probably where to source it. Okay. And you can also add additional information for each of the action steps. Okay, you are all very experienced with planning, as I expected. So let's look a little bit closely on each of these things. No? So by what, we mean to say what exactly needs to be done. So what is a good example of a clear what? So you might say, uh, we need to inform the members that we will launch a new product. That could be an action plan, right? So how can you make it a bit more specific or more exact? You might say, who exactly among your members? Is it the corn farmers? Is it the hog raisers? And what is the new product that you would like to launch? No? So is it a new feed mix, or is it a new, let's say, new, how do you say that? Is it about a new fertilizer for the yellow corn production? So be specific, no? When you identify the what of your action plan, no? Because sometimes we tend to state things in general terms, and when it's general, it does not really encourage us, or sometimes the action is not taken because precisely it was very general. So the more specific the action, the more likelihood that it will be taken. All right. How about the who? Well, the who is, as you said, who is going to do it, no? And who is going to implement or execute the action. And here you have some considerations. No? Is it really the right person? Are you identifying the right person to do that? Is it a part of his duties or responsibilities? Or is it in the scope of his or her work? Or do you have the person already within your team? Or is it someone you need to hire, or maybe get from outside the cooperative? So those are a few considerations on the who. And the when, as you said, is when should it be done? No? So it can either be the time frame, maybe the action will be taken in a year or a month's time, or it can be the deadline for an action, no? Or it can be the timing, no? When is the right time to communicate to your members that you will launch a new product? Or in which period or how long will this communication take place, no? So these are considerations in the when. And you need to know some basic information about the when. No? Is it the time when they are busy with their land preparation? Is it the time when they are busy with the harvest? So probably that is not a good time unless you plan to go there in the field with them and communicate, which might not be very good idea. So those are considerations on the when. And lastly, the resources. No, what do we mean by resources? It can either be the budget, no? The money that is needed for a certain activity. It can be resources to hire people, or it can be resources to purchase some materials or even equipment. Okay, and it would be very nice also if these resources are found already in your existing budget, or that you can think of where you might source this budget. No? And if it is not yet in your existing budget, then it is something you might consider in your next budgeting cycle if the activity is extended to that period. No? All right. And in our marketing plan, which is basically a table. No, it's a table where you put all the what, the whom, the when, and the resources in columns, and then of course each row is your action. At the end, you can put a column on additional information. This is where you put notes on things you want to check about, or maybe there are reminders that you need to put there. No, like. If you want to communicate to your members about a new product, you might put there already a name of a person that you might want to hire, or probably some assumptions that you need to check. No? So any other additional information that will be useful for you. So if you just follow this guideline, or this very logical and common sense way of doing a plan, and use this simple template, then I think you have the basis for a good marketing plan. All right? Is that clear? Are there any questions? Okay, very good. So, what are other things we can consider in the marketing action plan step? Well, as I said earlier, the actions will come from the previous 5 steps. So you might consider, for example, any research needed to complete your internal and external analysis. Remember that when you do the external and internal analysis, there might be some information that you don't have at the moment. So you can put down in your notes that this is something for you to check or to research on, or to ask other people in your cooperative. So that in itself can be an action, to do additional research. Another possible action could be anything related to your SWOT analysis. So what are examples of this? So maybe there are weaknesses that you need to address so that you can prevent the possibility of threats happening. No? Or maybe there are some strengths that you can use or capitalize to take advantage of an opportunity. Or it can also be that you need to check whether something is really an opportunity or a threat. So the idea is look at your SWOT analysis and see if there are actions there that you may want to already plan, no? or do for your marketing plan. Another idea is the part about the marketing mix. So of course you look at your future marketing mix, and you align it to the product market combination that you have chosen, right? So if your target is for example, to introduce a new product in an existing market, and for example, the new product is a new kind of feed, no? A new kind of mix, and you want to introduce it to your existing members. So it's the existing market. So you need to align, and you have done this already in your review of your future marketing mix. What would be the best mix of the product how you're going to promote it, what will be the best price, what promotional activities you will do. So all of these things requires action, and they can readily be put into your action plan. All right? And of course, any other topics mentioned in our training, like touch points, you may plan to uh, 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 look at the touch points and prepare some marketing activities using those touch points, whether that's social media, or maybe it's a poster in the village, or maybe it's about putting the logo of your organization and your products in your vehicles. And other ideas, it could also be about preparing an elevator pitch, so that when you are faced with a potential buyer, you take the opportunity to be able to already do marketing, no? And um, yeah, so those are just some of the ideas. And um, also some more tips, which you can also find in your workbook, is this idea of following the principle of a SMART action plan. Anybody here can anyone here explain to me what SMART means? Okay, very good. So SMART is an acronym that stands for specific, measurable, attainable, result focused, and timely. So let's look at each of one. What do we mean by specific? That's right. It is what we said earlier, not that the action should be as clear as possible, not in general terms, but as specific or as concrete as you can. No? If you say a person introduce a new product, which product? Or if you say you want to improve your marketing activities, what does improving mean? Does it mean producing new materials? Does it mean completing your buyer analysis? So make it as specific as you can. The M, measurable, I think it's very obvious. No? How will you know that you have reached or implemented the action? So it's about the numbers. Okay, they say that if you cannot measure something, it doesn't exist. Well, it's a bit extreme, but in some cases it's like that. If you just say increase membership, what does that tell you? But if SIDSI says we will increase our membership from 30,000 to 50,000 in the next three years, and that's exactly what they did. So just last month, at the end of July, they were able to reach the target of 50,000 members. They are now 50,000 members strong, and that is a very measurable target and action. So they know they have reached that specific action that they wanted, or target that they wanted to reach, which is an increase in membership of 50,000. And the A, which is attainable, is really about, is it in your power to accomplish it? In other words, is it really feasible or realistic? And feasibility is defined by whether it's technically possible, whether it's physically possible. For example, you want to increase your membership to 50,000, but within your area where your cooperative operates, there are actually only 30,000 or 40,000 farmers. So it is not attainable to have 50,000 members if you don't go beyond your area of operation. So it's not feasible, it's not physically possible. So check the attainability, or how realistic is it for you to accomplish this goal or implement this activity. The R is about result focus. No? So can you realistically achieve it? No? So I think it's a bit similar to attainable, but it's really more the realism. No? It may be feasible, it's not physically impossible, but maybe the timing is not right, or maybe politically there are some challenges, so it may not be realistic to do a certain action or achieve a certain goal. And the last is T, which is timely, or you may say time bound. This is the question of when exactly do you want to accomplish it. No? So it's similar to the question of when. So your activity should have a time deadline. No? It should be time bound so that you know whether you have done it or not done it. Right? Okay, so that in short are some of the basic steps, some of the ideas where your actions for your marketing plan may come from, and some tips on how to make your action plan smart. Are there any questions? Okay, is it clear to everybody? All right, so if that's the case, thank you very much for attending this session. I turn you back over now to my colleague Ruth for the next step in our workshop. Thank you very much. Bye bye.